Have you ever wished you could grow your wealth quietly, without stress, without anyone even knowing? Imagine waking up one day, checking your account and realizing that your money has been working for you while you enjoyed your life. No late-night worries, no risky gambling with your savings, just simple, steady growth. The truth is, many people chase wealth the hard way. They look for the next big stock, jump into risky investments, or try to time the market, hoping to strike it rich. But the wealthiest and wisest people, those who live comfortably without financial stress, have a very different approach. They let their money do the work for them, silently and consistently. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I do that? Well, the answer is simpler than you think. It all starts with choosing the right assets that grow on their own, without needing constant attention. And one of the best-kept secrets of silent wealth building is something called index funds and ETFs. Let's say you have some savings tucked away, maybe in a bank account earning next to nothing in interest. What if instead you put that money into an investment that quietly grew over time, steadily increasing without you lifting a finger? That's exactly what index funds and ETFs do. They gather some of the best companies in the stock market, big names like Apple, Amazon, and Google, into a single investment, so you don't have to pick and choose. It's like ordering a sampler plate at a restaurant instead of just one dish. You get a little bit of everything, reducing risk while still getting solid returns. Now, let me tell you about my neighbor, Bill. Bill is a retired teacher who never considered himself an investor. He always thought the stock market was too complicated. But a few years ago, he heard about index funds and decided to give them a try. He started small, putting in a little money each month. He didn't stress over it. He didn't try to predict the market. He just kept going, trusting the process. Fast forward to today, and Bill is living comfortably. His investments have grown steadily, providing him with extra income every month. He's not worried about running out of money, and he's not glued to stock charts. He spends his time traveling, enjoying hobbies, and spending time with his grandkids, all while his money quietly works for him in the background. And here's the best part. You don't need a fortune to start. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to start. There are platforms like Vanguard, Fidelity, and even simple apps like Robinhood that let you invest with as little as a few dollars. The key is consistency. Start small if you need to, but just start. Now, here's something really exciting. What if I told you there's another way to invest? One where you can earn from real estate without ever having to deal with tenants, maintenance, or property taxes. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. In the next part, I'll show you how to build wealth through real estate without owning a single property. If you think investing in index funds is simple, wait until you hear about this. Stay with me, because this next secret could change your financial future forever. Now that you know how simple it can be to grow your wealth quietly with index funds and ETFs, let's take it one step further. What if I told you that you could invest in real estate, one of the most powerful ways to build wealth, without ever owning a single property? No dealing with tenants, no repairs, no worrying about property taxes. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's very real, and many people, just like you, are already using this strategy to create a steady stream of passive income. Let me introduce you to REITs, or real estate investment trusts. Think of them as a way to own a small piece of some of the biggest real estate developments in the country: malls, hospitals, office buildings, without the stress of managing anything. It's like being a silent partner in a massive real estate empire. I'll tell you a story. My friend Susan always loved the idea of investing in real estate. She dreamed of earning rental income, but the thought of dealing with late-night plumbing emergencies and difficult tenants kept her away. Then she discovered REITs. She started with just a small investment, less than what she'd spend on a weekend getaway. Over time, her money grew, and before she knew it, she was earning steady income from some of the best properties in the country, without ever stepping foot in them. And here's the best part. REITs are legally required to pay out 90% of their profits to investors. That means if a shopping mall or a medical building you've invested in earns money, you get a share of those profits without lifting a finger. Getting started is simple. You don't need a real estate license, and you certainly don't need to buy and manage properties. Platforms like Vanguard, Schwab, and Fundrise allow you to invest in REITs with as little as $100. You can choose different types of properties: commercial buildings, apartments, or even healthcare facilities. It's all about diversification, so your wealth continues to grow steadily and safely. Now, imagine this. While others are dealing with broken pipes and difficult tenants, you're sitting back, enjoying your life and watching your money work for you. That's the power of investing smartly, of making your money earn more money. But let's take it one step further. You've learned about index funds. You've discovered the power of real estate investing through REITs. But there's something even more powerful, an asset that has protected wealth for centuries. It doesn't rely on stock markets, real estate, or even banks. It's something tangible, something that holds its value no matter what happens in the economy. I'm talking about precious metals: gold, silver, and platinum. You may have heard people say, gold never loses its value. Well, there's a reason for that. And in the next part, I'm going to show you why owning precious metals is one of the smartest ways to safeguard your wealth, and why the wealthiest people in the world always have a stash of it. Stay with me, because this next part could be the key to protecting everything you've built. You now know how to grow your wealth silently through index funds and ETFs, and how to tap into real estate wealth without ever dealing with tenants or maintenance. But let me ask you this. What happens when the stock market crashes? What if real estate values drop? Wouldn't it be smart to have something solid, something real that can hold its value no matter what's happening in the economy? This is exactly why the wealthiest people in the world always have a portion of their money in precious metals like gold and silver. It's one of the oldest, most trusted ways to protect wealth. It has survived recessions, inflation, even wars. While currencies have come and gone, gold has never lost its value. And the best part? It's an asset that stays under the radar. Nobody needs to know you have it. I'll tell you a story. My grandfather, a hard-working man who lived through some tough financial times, had a simple philosophy. Always keep something of real value close. He wasn't a financial expert, but he understood one thing. Paper money could lose its worth, but gold and silver would always be valuable. Back in the 1980s, an ounce of gold cost around $400. Fast forward to today, and that same ounce is worth over $2,000. Imagine if he had stored just a few coins away every year. That simple habit would have created a small fortune, silently growing over time. The beauty of owning gold and silver is that you don't need a big investment to start. For just a few $100s, you can buy gold coins or silver bars from trusted sources like JM Bullion or Kitco. If you don't want to store physical gold, there are easy alternatives like gold ETFs, SPDR gold shares, GLD, that track gold prices without you needing to keep the metal yourself. And here's another thing. Unlike stocks or real estate, gold doesn't need an internet connection, a bank, or a government to keep its value. It's always yours. You can hold it in your hands, store it in a safe, and no one needs to know about it. Now, let's take this even further. Gold and silver are great for protecting wealth, but what if you could create an asset that pays you forever, even while you sleep? Think about this. Have you ever heard a song on the radio and thought, the person who wrote this must still be making money from it? Or maybe you've bought a book years after it was published and wondered, is the author still getting paid? This is the power of intellectual property, owning something that makes money long after you've created it. In the next part, I'm going to show you how some of the wealthiest, most successful people in the world have created simple things, books, songs, even ideas that pay them for life. And guess what? You can do it too. Stay with me, because this next secret might just be the most exciting one yet. So far, we've talked about how to grow your wealth silently through index funds and ETFs, how to earn from real estate without ever owning property, and how gold and silver can protect your wealth no matter what happens in the economy. But now, let's talk about something even more exciting, a way to make money that doesn't rely on stocks, real estate, or even physical assets. Let me ask you this. What if you could create something once and get paid for it for the rest of your life? Sounds incredible, right? Well, that's exactly how intellectual property works. It's one of the most powerful ways to build wealth, because once you create it, it can generate money for years, even decades, without any extra effort. Take a moment to think about this. Every time someone plays a song on the radio, the artist gets paid. Every time a book is sold, the author earns royalties. Every time a movie is streamed, the creator makes money. This is why some of the wealthiest people in the world aren't just investors, they're creators. Now, before you say, "But I'm not a musician or an author," let me tell you, anyone can create intellectual property. It's not just about books and music. It can be an online course, a helpful guide, a unique recipe, or even a catchy phrase. Let me tell you about Lisa, a retired school teacher who wanted to share her love for cooking. Instead of just giving recipes to her friends, she wrote a simple e-book filled with her best dishes and published it on Amazon Kindle. She wasn't a professional writer, but that didn't matter. Within a few months, she was making a few $100s a month from book sales. That book, it still sells today. Lisa isn't working for money anymore. Her money is working for her. And the best part, you don't need a publisher or an agent to get started. If you have knowledge about anything, finance, gardening, parenting, fitness, you can package it into a short book, an online course, or even a paid newsletter. Websites like Gumroad, Udemy, and Etsy make it easy to sell your knowledge to the world. Now, if you think owning an idea is powerful, wait until you hear about the next secret. What if I told you that some people are quietly making fortunes by collecting rare and valuable items that most people overlook. I'm talking about collectibles, hidden treasures that grow in value over time. Think of vintage watches, rare comic books, classic cars, or even fine wines. These aren't just hobbies, they're investments that can skyrocket in value. In the next part, I'll show you how a simple childhood toy could be worth thousands today, and how you can start collecting valuable assets that not only bring joy, but also build wealth. Stay with me, because this next strategy might just be your new favorite way to grow your fortune. Over the past few parts, we've uncovered some of the best-kept secrets to growing wealth quietly. From investing in index funds and real estate, to protecting your money with gold and silver, and even making money from intellectual property without lifting a finger. But now, let's talk about something truly exciting: hidden treasures. Have you ever held on to something for years, only to later realize it's worth a fortune? Maybe an old baseball card, a rare coin, or a vintage watch. You might be surprised to learn that some of the biggest fortunes in the world come from collecting things most people overlook. Take John, for example. He started collecting vintage watches as a hobby back in the 1980s. At the time, he bought a Rolex Submariner for just a few $1,000s. Today, that same watch is worth over $100,000. He never saw himself as an investor. He just liked watches. But by holding on to them, his collection turned into a fortune. And it's not just watches. Some rare comic books, classic cars, and even fine wines have skyrocketed in value over time. The best part: you don't need to be rich to start. Websites like eBay, Chrono24, and even art platforms like Masterworks allow you to buy collectible items with just a small investment. The secret to collectibles is patience and knowledge. If you love art, start with emerging artists. If you enjoy history, look into rare coins. If you're fascinated by the past, consider vintage furniture or classic books. Collect what you love, and over time, it might turn into something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Now, let's step into the future for a moment. We've talked about old treasures, but what about the new digital gold, cryptocurrency? Yes, I know, crypto can seem confusing, but let's put it simply. It's digital money that isn't controlled by banks or governments. Imagine you had put just $100 into Bitcoin in 2010 when it was worth less than $1. That tiny investment would have turned into millions. Of course, those days are gone, but that doesn't mean crypto is dead. Coins like Ethereum, Solana, and stablecoins like USDC still offer exciting opportunities. And for those who don't want to deal with market swings, there are ways to earn passive income through crypto just by holding certain assets. You don't need to be a tech genius to start. Platforms like Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken make it easy to buy and store crypto securely. And if you're worried about safety, using a digital wallet like Trust Wallet or Ledger Nano can keep your assets protected. Now, let's bring it all together. We've talked about stocks, real estate, precious metals, intellectual property, collectibles, and cryptocurrency. But there's one final secret that ties everything together. Something that separates those who struggle financially from those who quietly build lasting wealth. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's consistency and discipline. Think about this. If you invested just $500 every month for 20 years, even in something simple like index funds, you could end up with over $300,000. not because you made some lucky trade, but because you were consistent. This is what silent millionaires understand. They don't chase trends, they don't jump in and out of investments, and they don't waste time worrying about short-term ups and downs. They stick to their plan. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. Consistency and discipline are the true keys to financial success. Now, here's my question to you. Which one of these strategies will you start using today? Will you begin investing in index funds? Maybe you'll look into REITs, or even start collecting something valuable. Whatever you choose, just remember, small steps, taken consistently, lead to incredible results. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts and seeing how you're taking charge of your financial future. Let's build wealth quietly, together.